Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. What's going on, guys? This is an exciting night. This is a test of the brand new audio for VATSIM system, AFV as they're calling it, not America's Funniest Videos. Hopefully tonight won't be among those, but it's the beta test of the new VATSIM audio system that's been under development for a few months now, and very eagerly awaited, I must say. And we've got a what is billed as potentially, hopefully, fingers crossed, the last big beta test of the system before they start pushing it out to the live servers. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that everything goes well. So the test started 38 minutes ago, and there's 140 clients connected. You can see the green rings represent ground stations. The red planes obviously represent planes, duh. We can put in range rings that represent the transmit and receive range for each of those. And if any of those rings touch each other, then the plane and the ground station, or the plane and the plane, or whatever, the two stations can receive and transmit to each other. So just to keep the map from getting too cluttered, I'm putting the ATC rings up. I'm not going to put the pilot rings up because it's just too much information, and the map is a little laggy to scroll. Let's see, where is that? Me up there? No, I have no idea. There I am. So there we are over at Albany. We're going to fly down to Nantucket, so we are going to get rolling as soon as we can here. We really just want to get this thing going and see how this thing sounds and see how it works. The other brand new surprise is this. No, your eyes do not deceive you. I am not running FSX tonight. I'm running X-Plane. But this is a brand new beta client for X-Plane that looks very similar to vPilot, and it's intentional. It's called xPilot. It's not the same code. It's basically just a copy of the user interface. But man, look at it. It's so nice and compact. And if we wanted to do a METAR observation, we just do KALB. Look at that. It's right there. We don't have to go flipping through different tabs. We can see which controllers are on. We can see any of the text messages or the ATC chat messages that come over right there, all on one screen. We can go to a flight plan and submit that, and it's already submitted, and it's nice and compact, and there's not 10,000 different options and buttons and stuff that you have to do when you set this thing up. I did go under settings, and I set my server information, and I set a few options, and I set the push to talk, and I think that's really all you need to do. I did install some CSL models through X-Plane so that hopefully we'll see some other players rendered, and I'm hearing some little issues with ground elevation reporting and stuff like that, but it's in development. But when the new voice system goes live, hopefully this will go live too, and we'll be able to use this on the regular VATSIM network. The thing is, this is completely brand new. I'm not even sure I'd call this beta. It might still be considered alpha. You can't use it on the regular VATSIM network yet. You can only use it on the audio for VATSIM. It was built with the new voice system. It has not been built at all. Won't even be built with the old voice system. So can't be used on the current VATSIM network. Can only be used on the new VATSIM network, the new voice system, and then so it won't be publicly available until that voice system is rolled out to the network at large. So lots of cool stuff though to tinker with tonight. Let's see how it works. Playing with the new voice system, playing with a new pilot client, and getting right to it. But in addition to all the stuff we did for the new stuff that we're testing, we've also got just a regular flight to fly. So we've got the Beach Baron with Reality Expansion Pack, and I've already run the controls through the ranges just to make sure that my software and hardware controls are showing the same positions. We're doing a route from Albany to Nantucket, but I filed kind of a non-standard route to try and get around some of this weather. Of course, some of the weather is headed toward Nantucket, so I don't know how well that's going to work. But we'll see if we can avoid at least some of it, and we'll see what happens. But this is the route that I filed, and we will get rolling on with it. All right. I'm going to check the maintenance report, make sure that the plane's airworthy. Let's see. We got simcoders.com and maintenance report. Where is it? All right. Number 1 engine looks good. Oil's clean, filter's clean, plug tips are clean, everything's good there. 12 quarts, yeah, let's double check that. 12 quarts of oil, yes, 12 quarts of oil there on that side as well. Everything's clean, good to go. No need to switch injectors. We don't need to preheat, 73 degrees outside. Battery's nearly fully charged. Avionics look good, gauges look good, tires, brakes, and struts look good. And this is just a summary of what we've earned and spent. So everything's looking good with the maintenance report. Let's go ahead and close that up. I said close that up. I think that just, well, that's right. We'll deal with it later. Oh, there we go. Okay, the next thing to do is the pre-flight walk around. I think we like to be in the airplane when we start this, or it doesn't always work. But we'll go to, we'll blow past any options, any checklist items that don't have button actions. But we'll do everything that requires an action there. That next button is being a little sticky with me. We do have some storms in the area, like we can see. We do need to pull up all the tie downs and shocks. Flaps secure, aileron should move freely. Oh, I didn't load the fuel, so it's only showing 12 gallons. Normally you'd load the fuel and then you'd do the walk around, and part of the walk around is to make sure that the amount of fuel that you ordered to put into the tanks is what's showing once you run the dipstick down. So doing it slightly out of order here. We are getting the engine cover, pitot cover off. We're checking the fuel quantity and quality and the oil quantity and quality in both engines. Again, 12 gallons is not going to cut it. We'll set the fuel load here in just a moment. Alright, so let's go to the weight and balance page. So normally you do this before you do the walk around, because that's part of your walk around. You'll check those tanks with the dipstick, as you saw. We're doing 50 gallons in each tank tonight, and the reason for such a high amount for just the one flight is that we got an alternate that's kind of far away. Again, trying for the alternate to try and be out of these storms. So, all right. Anyway, we will get back and see. We're back in the airplane. Let's get the yokes out of the way and kind of see around it. All the switches are down, gear levers down, parking brake is indeed set. Let's go ahead and get the cow flaps open. That's down there. And battery switch, beacon, nav, and panel lights on. I'll kind of run through this quickly because I can't wait to hear this voice system, and I've only got time for the one flight tonight. So, gear green lights lit. Fuel quantity should be showing just about a half, and it is. Prop and mix levers can go forward. We'll start with the number 2 engine. Throttle up on the fuel pump for just a few moments. Fuel flow stops increasing. Back down, and about halfway up the handle width. Clear the prop. Engage magnetos and starter. Fuel pressure comes up right away. And as soon as it does, we can go alternator on. Left side, same process. Throttle up. Fuel pump. Fuel flow stops increasing. Throttle down. Half the handle width. Nobody around the prop area. Start it. Oil pressure comes up right away. Rest of the temps and pressure start moving into the normal ranges. Alternator on. Avionics on. Sync the throttles. And get the marker beacon sounds off and put a message screen up over the GPS. And we're good. We're golden. Last thing to do here is check the trim, and the trim works fine. Okay, we've already sent the flight plan. You saw that I checked the METAR, but I didn't really look at it. Go back into xPilot. This is beautiful. Okay, whoops. This right here. I can't wait until this is usable. METAR is 10 statute miles, thunderstorms. Wind is 180 at 13, so we'll be taking off to the southbound. And the altimeter is 2981, so we'll get 2981 set here on the altimeter. Up top here. Can't really see that too well. Okay, so there's 2981. Ground elevation is 285, and yep, that's about what's showing, so that's good. Set the comm radios as needed. We got the controller list right here in the client. Looks like Boston West is 2375. Do we have... Okay, so it doesn't really specify who's what. But we'll just assume 2375 is for the 2375. And
no worries.
oh, it works. I'm hearing that in my headset. Are you guys hearing that on stream? Okay, we've got everything set up perfectly. I'm gonna adjust the volume down just a touch. Output volume will go -20. Maybe -25. Apply. Okay.
United 511, contact New York Center 125.32. Yeah.
Maybe bump it down just a touch more. Nah, you know what? We'll leave it a little on the hot side tonight. Leave it a little on the hot side because I know that's what you guys really want to hear. So I'm gonna put.
Air Canada 528, contact Boston approach 118.25.
Bump it up just a touch.
1825, Air Canada 528, you sounded amazing tonight.
Yeah, he does. Alright. Let's do this, guys.
Canadian Express 557, radar contact 13 miles southeast of Rochester. Level 3.
Was he just talking to a plane we couldn't hear? Oh. Planes that are further away sound a little more distant. That's pretty cool. Boston Center, Baron 514, Delta Victor's on the ground at Albany, IFR to Nantucket. Is this the correct channel for IFR clearance?
You know, normally I'd be annoyed that it was blocked the entire time. However, I got to hear the block noise for the first time, so I'm okay with it. I did hear United 211 Zulu calling Boston. Confirm that.
Yes, United 211 Zulu.
That's...
9,000.
now we're demoing the block tone.
I appreciate whoever was doing that. Let me hear it more. United 211
That's great.
Thank you very much. United 211.
Boston Center, Baron 514, Delta Victor.
Baron 524 Delta Lima, was it?
Baron 514, Delta Victor on the ground at Albany. Is right channel for the IFR clearance here?
514 Delta Victor, Boston Center. Affirmative.
Alright, Roger. We got the weather here at Albany. We're IFR to Nantucket. Ready when you are.
Number 514 Delta Victor, cleared to Nantucket Memorial Airport via the Albany 7 departure. Radar vectors Pauling, then as filed. Maintain 4,000, departure this frequency, and squawk 4604, 4604.
Alright, cleared to Albany 7, radar vectors Pauling, then as filed. We'll maintain 4,000, 123.75, and 4604, 514 Delta Victor.
Number 514 Delta Victor, readback is correct. The Albany altimeter is 29081, wind 190 with 1 tree. Call for taxi.
Alright, we'll give you a call for taxi 514 Delta Victor. Alright, so we're going to depart off 190.
Boston, Delta 2496, we're vacating 50370.
So that was a cool thing. I blocked somebody prior and had no idea I was blocking somebody, because that is indeed how radios really work. You won't hear when you're transmitting.
Now, and we've the current information Boston for Delta 24.
That's how that works.
Roger.
So your radio cuts out when you transmit. That's how real radios work. So it's really cool that they have that simulated now. But I had no idea I was blocking anybody. And it'll be cool to watch the stream back from the other end and realize that that's when I was talking. I'm getting chills by this, guys. Let's get this flight set up, though. The Albany 7, and then Pauling.
And Jazz 770. Sorry, you wanted to work to where?
14.3 is the VOR. Let's get that set.
Jazz 770.
14.3. Yeah, the rest of this is just like it is on any other stream. So I gotta get the radios preset. The next one after Pauling, we go southbound here, and we pick up this inbound radial to Bridgeport, even though we don't go all the way into Bridgeport, we go to this Point Dena, but Bridgeport's going to be on 108.8, so we'll preset that.
United 211 Zulu for this question.
108.8, we're going to preset it on the standby, but we're also going to set it in the nav2. And the inbound will be 336, so that's 156.
211 Zulu, deviation for weather approved, advise when you're ready to
So
go
we'll
back
get that, this down here, 156. I'm going the wrong way. Spun it all the way around, 15.
United 925, cleared direct J fund.
345, and then
Correction,
6.
Delta 925, cleared direct J fund.
The Pauling VOR is going to be kind of south of us, so I'm just going to set that to about 180 for now.
Delta 2496, say indicated airspeed in transition.
And of course went the wrong way, a long way around again. Runway heading for 190.
Delta 2496 will be
Is 192.
290 in the transition.
So we'll
Delta 2496, roger.
set the heading mug to 192, and then I think we're set from a nav radio standpoint.
Jump through it, so back on course.
Flaps are stowed, that's correct. Oil temps and pressures. Yeah, all temps and pressures are green. We'll lean the mix until the RPM drops.
Barnes, VOR.
Right to there. Back to 1000. Whoops. There we are. And we get the taxi light on. And we'd hope to be airborne 8 o'clock on the dot.
925.
Looks like we're gonna make that okay.
905 for 925.
Delta 925, roger. And you can delete speed restrictions on your end.
Okay, let's get taxied out to runway 19. We are on the GA ramp here, so we're gonna try and pick up Alpha, go all the way north. GA is all the way down here on the south side. So I got a little bit of a long taxi. See if he wants to give us an intersection departure,
Delta
but
2496, maintain 280 knots or less.
well, we can pretty much just go all the way up
280
Alpha.
indicated or less for Delta 2496.
And we're facing west, so I guess is that, yeah, that's the road there. So the taxiway's behind us, it looks like. Center Baron 514 Delta Victor's ready to taxi at Albany.
Number 514 Delta Victor, runway 19er taxi via Alpha, cross runway 10.
19 via Alpha, cross 10, 514 Delta Victor. Scooch in behind, hopefully we won't have a little wing.
United 2130.
Wingtip strike.
Center 125.
I think we're okay there.
2532, United 2136, we'll see you.
See ya, Delta 1237, descend to pilot's discretion, maintain
Alright.
level 240.
Pilot's discretion 240, Delta 1237.
Cheating a little bit by going to the outside view, but
When we start down now.
when it's that tight, you probably have somebody out there spotting you.
Delta 925.
So,
from
not that much of a
maintain
cheat.
1000.
Down 1000, not too bad.
I think this is Alpha here. Yeah, okay, so that said Alpha at Foxtrot, I think is what it said, so. Alright, we're good. I'm going to kind of step up the taxi just a little bit. You guys didn't come here to watch me taxi, you came here to listen to the audio, so. I know when I'm not the star of the show, it's not a big deal. What I'm waiting to hear is somebody to acknowledge. So there's certain instructions or radio transmissions where you acknowledge with your call sign, and then there's like another little piece of information, and you kind of just do a double tap on the mic to acknowledge that. It's something that real world pilots do. You don't hear it in VATSIM much
Delta 2496, reduce speed to 270.
because it doesn't work in the current voice system.
Alright, 270 indicated now, speedbirds, or correction, Delta 2496.
You just get these really delayed audio streams that come off and on, but you don't have the little pop at the beginning and end of it that kind of makes it distinct. I guess we should look both ways here. Yeah. But with this system, you do kind of hear the little mic pops, the little radio transmission pops at the beginning and end of the transmission, so you can acknowledge a transmission with just a click click. So we'll see when that comes on. Well, I'm sure we'll hear that at some point tonight.
Delta 925.
The one kind of disconcerting thing is you don't have
better to advise, not too bad.
you don't have the tone that acknowledges that you've tuned to an active channel. You just have to tune to the right frequency and hope that someone's going to be on the other end when you talk. That's realistic. That's the way it works, guys. And then you don't have anything in your ear to confirm, like Swift does, to confirm that you are indeed transmitting. Now that's, I do like kind of having a pop for that because it's not a, it's a check of your software setup. Something might be interfering with your push-to-talk being received by the software. So that, I kind of like having that reassuring click. But, yeah, don't have that in this client, at least anyway, the xPilot client. Pulling off to the side here, we're going to pull over, do our little run up here. We're going to run the RPMs up to 2200. We're going to flex the prop governor down 3 times. 1,
Delta 925.
2, and 3. Alright, run it to 17. We'll do our mag check. Down 1 on the right. Down 2 on the right. I'm not talking through this as much as I normally do. Again, the audio system is the star of the show tonight, not the flying. Down 1 on the left. Down 2 on the left.
Delta 925, descend via the J
Back.
to arrival runway.
Test the feathering.
Set via the JFL2 for 22 left.
Works.
Delta 925, contact approach 1.
Back up to 1,000 RPMs.
29, sweet.
And we are ready.
2496, contact approach 118.25.
1825, Delta 2490.
Up. You know what I didn't do though? I didn't get my squawk code set. What was it? 4604.
Express 557, descend at pilot's discretion, maintain level 240.
604.
Roger, pilot discretion down to 240.
We are in mode Charlie, I believe. Alright, there's off, there's standby, and there's mode Charlie. Okay. Should be good there.
Delta 1237 vacating for level 370.
Delta 1237, thanks, descend via the J fund to 2 arrival, runway 22 left, Delta, keen altimeter 2986.
A little bit of static.
Fund 22 left.
Gotta love
Delta
it.
1237.
Center bearing 5 and 4 Delta Victor, hold short 19 Albany, ready to go.
5 and 4 Delta Victor, runway 19 clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 19 5 and 4 Delta Victor. Alright, mix to full.
Center bearing November 823 Charlie Sierra, checking in 4,500.
Landing lights on, taxi light off, strobe light on, pitot heat.
Center,
Coming on.
hello, Albany altimeter is 2982.
Alright, let's not overshoot.
982 choice.
Alright. Advance the engines, they respond normally and symmetrically. All temps and pressures do in fact look good.
Jazz 770 contact.
Set our takeoff.
Boston Center, rather 133.45.
Airspeed is alive. 85 knots will rotate. There we are. Gears coming up.
Okay, Express 557, radar contact lost.
Alright, we'll pitch for 110 knots.
I'm sorry about that.
Sorry, eh? Alright. Getting bounced around a little bit by the storm. Not yet receiving that Pauling's VOR. We'll double check the frequency, but I think I've got it dialed in correctly. 114.3. Ken Pryor's here. Hang on, Ken. I'll check that message in just a moment. But we'll get it, get the power dialed down to 25 on the manifold pressure and 25 on the RPMs. Lean the mix out just a touch.
Canyon Express 557, thanks. Radar contact 52 miles west of Albany.
Alright, pitching for that 110 knot climb.
Switch or something here to...
It happens. You just want to hope that it's the right, not the wrong switch, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Give them a call, let them know that we're with them. Center Baron 5 and 4 Delta Victor's passing 2,000 for 4,000. And we are receiving Paulie now, so we can go direct to that if he asks us to.
Baron 514 Delta Victor, thanks. Ready to contact, climb maintain 1000, and direct Pauling when able.
1,000, direct Pauling, 5 and 4 Delta Victor. Alright, so there we go. We'll bump the needle over one more notch there.
Zulu, ready to contact lost.
Stop losing radar contact, guys. Alright, so we're up to 1,000 now. I'm going to bump the throttle up to maintain that 25 on the manifold pressure. RPMs are a little high. Going to edge them back down to 25. And we are
323 Charlie Sierra, report midfield left down and
direct to Paulie now. So Ken Pryor says, just got done mowing the yard. Had to get inside to watch my favorite streamer. Ken, you're sweet, man. God bless you. But yeah, we're on the new audio VATSIM audio system tonight, doing the big beta test. Let's see, this is what the mess looks like up in the Boston area. You're not going to find this on Vatastic or VATSpy tonight. This is what it looks like. 142 clients connected right now. I know they want to get 500 if they can, at least 300, up to 500 if they can. Getting really bounced around by this weather. So we got 142 so far, hopefully more as the night progresses. But so far it's brilliant. And the other nice really piece of surprise is that is xPilot. That is a brand new client, still in, I guess, kind of halfway between alpha and beta testing for X-Plane. Oof, yeah, we're struggling to maintain a pitch and roll here. And so it's basically a clone of vPilot for X-Plane. The bad news is it's not going to be available on the current voice system. It's only available for the new voice system. So it will be, presuming that everything goes well, it will be available once the new voice system becomes publicly available on the regular network. But it's not going to be usable with the current voice system. So we gotta wait. Gotta wait until that's all rolled out and production. Now the good news on that though is we haven't been given any firm dates, but my understanding is that if all goes well tonight,
Delta 1237 contact Boston.
it's supposed to be, and they're calling it the last big beta test before they roll this thing out.
It's Cam.
Oh, what's up? I couldn't figure out how to figure out who I was talking to because it's Vatastic doesn't work. We'll see.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's awesome that it's available and it's in the works, and so far so good. I haven't seen any other traffic. I guess maybe we'll see a little bit more when we get over to Nantucket, so hopefully give them a test of that. Oh, that's Duke 626 November. That's going to be Melvin Leroy, so it's great to hear that he's participating in the beta. And he's somewhere distant, and I'm having trouble hearing him, and that's normal. That's simulated the way it should be, because he's on the ground somewhere far away, and you can tell by the way he sounds, and that is incredible.
626, let's see here.
But that is definitely our buddy Melvin Leroy, so.
Pretty sure, I gotta check which sector of Boston approach is covering Minuteman. I'll get back to you with a frequency momentarily.
Roger.
Boston Center, Centurion 492.
Oh, and there's Agent B7. All the normal cast of characters is flying with us tonight. All our favorite streamers.
Bridgeport requesting flight following to Requesting flight following to Block Island.
Okay. Contact center 133.45.
133.45, Centurion for now, take my thing.
Alright, yeah, hang on guys, I'm still kind of fighting the weather here. And I'll get back into the chat messages as soon as I can. I am hand flying this thing. God bless me. Why am I doing that? I don't know. The throttle's wide open at this point. We're still not getting, you know what I'm gonna do. What's the OATs? Yeah, it's close enough to 0. I'm gonna pop the anti-icing on just to be sure. Of course, we're above the clouds now, but if any of the icing did build up, I do want to knock it off. Hopefully this weather will smooth out. 5 Reno Live is here. Anyone got an extra barf bag? I hope that you brought clothing that you're not upset about getting dirty.
Boston Center, Delta 2983, checking in with you. Climbing through 1000.
Yeah, it does sound great, doesn't it? Does sound great. And this the pilot client xPilot, I can't wait until it's just what we use every day. Because I mean, Swift has a lot of great features, but it's got too many features, man. I'm not ashamed to say it. I've been saying it all along.
November, contact Boston. Boston, approach 133.0.
133.066, thanks.
Alright. Manifold pressure looks like it's holding steady at 20. I was wondering if it was starting to dip because of icing or something like that, but it's holding steady. It's dipping because of the altitude, I think, but not any lower than it should be. Airspeed's dipping though. Airspeed's dipping as I'm fighting the plane to try and get it to climb above this weather. Yeah, but the radios just sound stunning, don't they? Center Baron 514 Delta Victor. It's okay if we continue on up to 13. We're still in some pretty bad weather here.
514 Delta Victor, climb maintain 13,000.
13,000, thanks 514 Delta Victor. If we can get there, we will. I'm leaving the mix out a little bit. Yeah, this is nasty flying weather, but couldn't pass up the opportunity to fly in the sector here and just test the new system. I'll tell you what, I've about had enough. I'm gonna... Oh, is it smoothing out finally? Oh. Perfect timing. I was just about to say I've had enough. We're going to let auto take over, but
In Boston Center, can you express 557, starting our descent, flight level 24.
with any luck,
Can Express 557 descend via the
we
J-Fund
just got it up
to
into the smoother air here.
altimeter 2991.
Roger, we'll descend the J-Fund to a route for 22 left. Can you express
So thank
557?
goodness. I think we're okay. I'm going to start leaning the mix out now. Get the EGTs up. Start leveling it. Try and get it down to nice level cruise at 13,000. Alright, it's all starting to work out, guys. Whew. I was a bit worried there. We were going to have a terrible stream with terrible weather and a terrible crash, but we were going to say, well, at least the radio sounded great. There's that second VOR starting to pop in now. Engine's got a little wavery. I think I had him leaned out just a little too much. There we go, about 20 degrees ridge of peak right there. Alright, now we're level at 13. Get it nice and trimmed here. We'll go ahead and let auto do the rest. Autopilot altitude. And what do I want to do from a navigation standpoint? Let's turn the heading bug just a little bit to the right. Well, actually, we're still just going direct Paulings. Yeah, we can just set the needle to direct from wherever we are and hit nav, right? We don't need to go on a specific radial to Paulings just yet. So that'll work. We'll go ahead and get the RPMs down to 23 for cruise. Get the cow flaps closed. That'll help us pick up a little extra speed, get some drag off. Since we're above the worst of the weather, I'm going to go ahead and turn the anti-icing stuff off now. What is the OIT? I didn't quite see. Yeah, it's below 0 there. What is it, about 7, 8 below there? I'll tell you what, while we're here, adjust that camera position.
Center Bear, November 823 Charlie Sierra. We're right about midfield for on the downwind runway 19.
Save all. There we go. So now,
823 Charlie Sierra, runway 19, clear to land.
there we go. Now we can see that a little bit better.
Land 823 Charlie Sierra.
Alright, so let's just take a spin through. Throttles are wide open. We're only getting about 17, but that's probably because of the altitude. I don't think that's an icing thing. RPMs are set at 23.
Any stations, internet for engine number Tango, radio check.
Plane calling for the radio check. I heard you 5x5. It's funny that I might be able to hear her, but the controller may not. Have to watch her stream and see what that sounded like on her end. This is so cool, though. I mean, it's a really realistic radio simulation now. Go ahead and spin the heading bug in. Look at this wind correction, guys. Look at this. I got it on nav mode, so presumably it's tracking straight into the VOR, but look at that differential between our heading and our track. That is insane. At least it's smoothed out, though. Good gracious, that was some fun flying. What the hell possessed me to do that by hand? I don't know. Alright, so let's refresh ourselves on our navigation plan. Frequency went quiet all of a sudden. Hope that's not a bug. I guess the last thing we heard was Diana, so. Of course, it's possible the controller lost his client, who knows? Still showing on there, Boston West Center 2375. So, fingers crossed that all is well and it just went quiet because it's quiet. But anyway, let's refresh ourselves on our navigation plan here. We're going direct Paulings, which is another 27 miles down the line. Let's get the... Oh, hush. Nobody's killing you. Nobody's breaking in. Go out there and maul that Amazon delivery man. Get him. Alright, so Paulings, and then there's a real short leg here, 8, 7, so 15 miles. Outbound Pauling on the 172. So there's the outbound radial. Well, when I drew through the 8 was right there, and the 7 was right there. So that tells us it's a total of 15 miles out on the 172.
3 Charlie Sierra, we are clear of runway 19.
Hey, there we go, we got sound still. 5 Arena Live says, hey Rob, watching Diana also sounds like she has some activity on the frequency.
Last aircraft second.
So that's the thing, 5 Arena. We used to be all in one voice room where we were all hearing the same things. Now we're not. What you can hear and what you can't hear depends on where you are and how high you are. So there's going to be some discrepancies from what the frequency sounds like from one end to the other. And that's just realism for you. I mean, it's not completely. It's a little bit simplified over the real radio physics. There's a few little liberties that they took. But for the most part, you know, what you can hear is dependent upon your range, and your range is dependent upon your altitude. So if she's in an airliner, she's going to be higher up. She's going to be hearing a lot more than I am. You know, airliner or turboprop or whatever. I'm at 13,000. If she's higher, she'll hear more. So that's one thing that we're going to have to get used to as VATSIM pilots, is that we're going to be stepping on people that we can't hear. It happened to me earlier. So we just have to exercise that bit of courtesy. Now, it's going to be a little bit easier because as soon as you hear somebody talk, you can let go of that push to talk, and it's not going to be that second and a half delay before you all talk, you know, over each other, and you know, both realize that you're both talking. So, you know, that delay is more or less gone. I mean, there's a slight
Express 557, contact Boston approach.
slight delay there. There's always going to be a slight delay, but it's a nearly imperceptible delay. And
Roger, over to
so
20.6
courtesy will be easier because you'll know
Have a good evening.
closer to instantly.
Go back to go live.
Yeah, amen,
I
brother.
hope and pray that it's very, very, very soon.
But anyway, so I gave 2 mic clicks to acknowledge that little +1, that little me too. But what was I even just saying? I don't remember. But anyway, with the latency gone, with the delay gone, it's going to be easier not to step on each other if you're all in range of each other. But it's going to be harder not to step on each other when there's certain pilots out there that you can't hear. You're going to have to be more attentive to situations like the controller just issued somebody a clearance. I can't hear them reading back their clearance, but I've got to presume that they are. So I'll wait for the controller to say, read back correct, runway instructions, blah, blah, blah. Don't just start chiming in because there's silence on the frequency, because, you know, that could indicate that a pilot's giving a nice long read back that you're just about to trample all over. Especially when pilots reading back clearances are going to be on the ground. So just by the nature of where they are when that happens, they're going to be transmitting with less range. So we're going to have to be more attentive to that, and I'm anxious to see how that's going to work out once this thing goes live. Five Arena says, yeah, I really like that factor. It adds a little bit more realism to the mix. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they work that into Cross the Pond. And of course, I know that for Cross the Pond, the goal has been to transition some of the oceanic into a more data link operation, which is also more realistic and modern than the voice means of relaying positions. So, but still, there is some voice activity that needs to go over the channel, and it'll be interesting to see how they handle that from a radio standpoint, because most of these planes are not simulating high-frequency radios, which are the greater range but greater static ones that you use over long range, because these VHF ones just don't reach those long distances. So they're going to have to take some liberties during Cross the Pond. The goal is to roll this out before Cross the Pond. I mean, my understanding is that if tonight goes well, you know, it may be weeks. I'm just kind of spitballing here, but I could very easily see them make an October 1st switchover or something along those lines, you know, something that would make sense. Bartle 11 is here.
So the
he'd be the authority on the matter as far as what the plan is, but he says we've got a plan. Can't discuss too much yet, though. So Bartle 11, is it? I guess you can choose to refute or not refute. I'm just going to say what I said again. Oh, this is Tyler Fiberino Live, by the way. All right, well, now you know what I'm up to, and you'll know when I'm wrapped up and ready to meet with you in that other venue. So, yeah, good to see you here, man. So Bartle 11, what I had just said was, if tonight goes well, I could envision a rollout of the new system. Okay, yeah, we know that Farmingdale doesn't load properly. Yeah, some library I didn't update. No worries. I could envision, if tonight goes well, the new system going live, say, like at a date that makes sense, like October 1st. You know, October 1st at midnight Zulu. We're all switching over, or something like that. I'm not looking for you to confirm or deny a specific date. I know you guys aren't at that point yet. Right, yeah, I understood. But to say that a massive switchover of the entire live network will be coming at some point, and hopefully that point will be coming between now and October, you know, let's say mid-October, is kind of the goal of the team, right? To have this rolled out to the entire network within, you know, maybe weeks, if this thing goes well tonight. Yeah, I know I'm not trying to pin you guys down to a specific date, but I know that, you know, the team is very anxious to get it rolled out. It's going so well. It's receiving so much good feedback. So Bartle 11 says, essentially, VATSIM will be going down for a period of 24-36 hours for the first time in its history, and when we come back up, we're all going to be on AFV. That's, I mean, just as crazy as it sounds to say that the network will be offline for 2 to 3 days. Well, no, I'm sorry. 24 to 36, 1 to 1.5 days. It is crazy, but to think that when we all come up, we're all going to be on this new system, and everyone will just update their client, and then we'll all be hearing this crystal clear, beautifully simulated radio.
Number 514 Delta Victor, contact Boston approach 133. Correction, Boston Center 13345.
3345, 514 Delta Victor, thanks. So 33, now watch this, guys, 33.
1974,
45, switch.
Do robot 2 arrival, if that's any help.
We didn't get the little beep 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 to confirm that we've changed frequencies. We just kind of heard one transmission end and another one start. Sounds like different people talking. Bartle says we will give a minimum of 2 weeks notice, hoping for 3. Okay, well that tells us that at least after tonight, you know, it's a minimum of 3 weeks. So, you know, again, I feel like October 1st, you know, may not be that unrealistic a goal. Let's get outbound to this 172, and I got to check in with this new controller as well. Let's go into heading mode. 17, we overshot it, so let's go back to 15. But I do need to set the radial to 172. So there's 17. 12. It's kind of coming back in pretty quickly, and then remember we got that wind correction too.
We have our field inside, so I guess we're gonna cancel our flight for thanks for your help.
Locked.
Yep.
Yeah, 5102, descend via the robot 3 arrival, runway 22 left, boss, altimeter 2988.
That's one thing.
Robot 322 left, 2988.
Did it not go into nav mode? Okay, there we go. So that's one thing you guys will all as pilots have to get better about, keeping our transmissions nice and brief, because you're going to be talking over somebody and not know it. You don't want to be talking for 30 seconds. Center Baron 514 Delta Victor's level at 13,000.
Baron 514 Delta Victor, boss center, roger.
Yep. So you don't need to say checking in with you. You don't need to say, you know, we're X. If you were handed off from one controller to the next, you don't have to give a position report. You just got to confirm the altitude. So as VATSIM pilots, it's incumbent upon us to start to figure out what are the extraneous words that we use.
Thank you. Good night.
Boston Center approach 8763, listen lower.
Block island traffic Centurion 490 Cessna Centurion 6 miles to the west, inbound for full stop, runway standby.
Direct Nantucket 5 and 4 Delta Victor. Alright, well, that's a change. Not sure if we're really going to want to do that for weather. But let's go ahead and pull up Nantucket and we'll go direct there. It's 116.2. Let's switch into heading mode. 116 is really changing the navigation plan a lot, but who knows what that's gonna do to us weather-wise. And then Bartle 11, thank you for that message. I'll check it in just a second. Gotta fly the plane and navigate it here first real quick. Center Baron 5 and 4 Delta Victor. We're not yet receiving the Nantucket. Do you have a heading for us? I disconnected from the network. I think my simulator froze there for a second.
606, thank you very much.
So,
Boston Metro 616, request deviations right at course.
Bartle 11 said one thing that'll be done before release is a frequency cross coupling. So we'll be able to hear pilots that are in the same controller's frequency but not in our range. That is really needed for top-down coverage. But when ATC is offline or if that's disabled, then the previous statements apply about being radio aware. Yeah, I think that's probably what's going on now. I know Diana's way more aware than she sounds like she is being right now, but I think it's because there's pilots that she can't hear that she's talking over.
Boston Center, Deputy Delta 1783, passing 12417.
Yeah.
Delta 8763, clear direct to Proby intersection.
Give them a minute to read that back.
Yeah, 510, correction, November 2, Foxtrot, Quebec, contact Boston approach, winds 0.6.
Alright, I'm going to spin that around to the left because I know it's probably more like easterly. But I got to let him know, as soon as I can get a word in, I got to let him know that I'm not yet receiving that Nantucket VOR. Center Baron 5 and 4 Delta Victor, not yet receiving Nantucket VOR. Do you have a heading for us?
Yeah, you know what, you're slaying Alpha. Let's see, let me get you here.
Block island traffic Centurion 490 November Tango on extended downwind for runway 28 full stop. Block island.
Oh, you know what? I know what's going on. I'm hearing her on my second radio.
514 Delta Victor, 110 on the heading of interaction in Nantucket.
Okay, 110 for now, 5 and 4 Delta Victor. We'll let you know when we're receiving it.
Yeah, of course, happened. First thing call, my apologies. Break, Delta, correction, United 5102, contact Boston.
Oh, I forgot, you're slant alpha. Yeah, you're damn right we're slant alpha. So, yeah, I thought Agent B7 was accidentally talking over pilots that she couldn't hear. That is not what was happening. Something way cooler was happening. What was happening was I had my COM2 tuned to 122.8, which is the global Unicom frequency, and I was hearing her make her traffic calls, not realizing that I was hearing both COM1 and COM2 at the same time in my headset. So that's what was going on. That is wild. There's some things we're going to have to really be careful about on this thing. So she's flying into a non-towered field apparently, making her traffic calls on Unicom over voice the way she's supposed to. And here I was thinking she was accidentally transmitting on a channel she shouldn't have been. So shame on me for making the crappy assumption. She was doing exactly what she was supposed to. So that's pretty wild though. Yeah, there's a lot of things we're going to have to get used to, man. This is pretty wild. But yeah, think about this, guys. In a matter of weeks, if tonight goes well,
Center to 284, descending forward 270.
spin this.
Delta 284.
I'm going to leave this kind of askew on purpose because I want it to be obvious when we start receiving that VOR and it pops in and starts giving us a course.
Boston Center, this is Delta 8763.
Delta 8763, there we are, sir. Semi-tape level 210, clear direct to the Roby intersection.
Roger, we'll descend for level 210, and we're on the direct for Roby. We were able to hear you previously for Delta 8763.
Roger, thank you.
Boston Center, JetBlue 2017, request direct for over for weather.
JetBlue 2017, that's approved, is requested to send across the Calverton VOR, Cherno Bay Charlie Charlie, at 12,250 knots, Kennedy, altitude 2988.
Alright, we'll go direct Calverton and cross it.
Love that little tiny little, ever so slight hint of a block tone between those two transmissions. That is extremely realistic when you get this back and forth rapid fire cadence that we were never been able to maintain on the live network because there's this second to second and a half delay between transmissions. So, but yeah, now with this realistic, like lightning quick back and forth cadence, and you hear the pilot start to jump in with their response just before the controller lets go of their push to talk, and you hear that ever so slight hint of the blocking tone. And the tone is not just by design, it's just what happens when two radios transmit on the same frequency at the same time. It's just the way the radio waves cross. The simulation, of course, is by design, and so that had to be programmed in to do that. And but they've got that simulated near perfect. It is so good. But I love just when the two stations are, you know, pilot and, you know, controller, pilot controller, pilot controller, real quick back and forth like that. And you get that slightest hint of the blocking tone in between. That's just the coolest. Uh-oh. I'm going to put the details up on the screen just so we have it for the record.
Roger, descend by the Roebuck 3 arrival, expecting to left to right, Delta 8763.
Metro 616 is straight copy.
Yes, I mean, obviously it's
Metro 616, Roger.
still connected, so. Wonder if I can copy and paste this into a notepad file. Kind of long. Yep, that worked. Okay. I'm gonna hit continue and see if it'll keep running. No, gave me another one. I'll assume it's the same thing. Yeah, that means xPilot just crashed out on me, so let me reconnect that. Oh, new version available. Alright, let's update. Just saving this text file on the top of my desktop for the moment, just in case they want it. xPilot crash. Part of being a beta tester, guys. This is what happens. Uh-oh. Wonder if that's going to work. I had to ignore a file that was actually in use. Alright, we'll see. This may go horribly wrong. Well, it did start back up. See if it'll let me connect. Oh, our VOR popped in. Now we can go like that. We'll click it into nav mode. Is that coming across way quieter than it was? Yeah, it sounds like it is. Ground speed is 226 knots.
Speed restriction for Delta 2782. Speed 240
And input volume still seems good, but output volume seems really quiet. So,
JetBlue 2121, depot at 1000. JetBlue 21.
all right, how's that?
21.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, 11,000 over depot. 21. Do you have a speed first there?
All right, there you go. Bartle 11 is debugging this thing as we go.
JetBlue 2121.
So there was an issue reporting the ground speed properly. I know that my ground speed is 226 knots because that's how quickly we're tracking inbound toward Nantucket VOR.
Delta 8763, contact Boston approach.
And presumably that's now
Going to 120.6 Delta 8763.
that's now how we're being reported. Happy to help, Bartle 11.
Boston Center, clear deep name, red nose, 7 Mike Lima, 12503, 600. Red nose, 7 Mike Lima, Boston Center, good evening, squawk 4746. 4746.
Now I wonder if he's going to get less staticky as he gets closer. That'll be interesting.
JetBlue 2017, contact New York Center 1.
I started to key up just then and realized he was talking.
JetBlue 2017, connect.
Center Baron 5 and 4 Delta Victor. We are direct Nantucket VOR now.
JetBlue 2121 is out of 17 for 11000. JetBlue 2121, roger, thank you. Red Nose 7 Mike Lima, radar contact 40 miles southeast, the Bangor VOR, level 360, welcome aboard. We'll go for Red Nose 7 Mike Lima. Airframe's 333, departing airspace to the east, Moncton Center closed, radar service terminated for exchange to advisors group. Delta 2782, flighting 120 vectors for sequence.
Only 120 for sequence, Delta 2782.
7,000.
Say again.
Delta 2782, fly heading 120 to maintain 7,000 vectors for sequence.
1207 down on Delta 2782.
Yep, whatever the rest of your message was, Mr. ATC, he stepped on you. Uh-oh.
Delta 284, descend via the
We got that again.
runway 22 left, Boston altimeter 2988.
Descend on the Roebuck 3 for 22 left, Delta 34.
So this is crash number 2. And I'll pull that text back up. Let's see, this is 0041 Zulu. I didn't record the time of the first one. Save that. Reconnect. Nope. Same error, it looks like.
Delta 2782, clear direct Proby, resume the Roebuck 3 arrival, descend via the Roebuck 3 arrival, runway 22 left, Boston altimeter 2988.
Well, hit continue, and
And
it
proceed to
seems to
Proby.
let me do that.
Arrival, descend arrival, runway 22 left, Delta 2782.
Whiskey River 99's here, says, hey all, what's going on?
Boston Center, hello, Spirit 47 Charlie with you passing 4000
Now it
out
seems
of
like the
JFK.
Super 47 Charlie Boston.
Now it seems like the ATC is a little loud on my headset. So.
Climbing tape flight level 230, loving that distance degradation. Speedbird 47 Charlie.
Yeah. Fly, okay. Yep.
Boston Center, good evening.
Metro 663, contact Boston approach 120.6. Yeah.
120.6, Metro 660.
So on my end, it sounded blocked. On his end, he was able to make it out.
JetBlue 2121, contact Boston approach 118.2. See ya. 118.2, JetBlue 2121, good day.
Boston Center, good evening. Delta 6130 with you, climbing through 9,300 for 14.
Delta 6130, Boston Center.
Peeking on it. Well, we're up to 100. We were up to 147 a second ago. It's now 135. Come on, guys. Let's get some more people connected. We want to really test this thing.
Delta 284, confirm your procedure.
Whiskey River says, getting a new PC on Friday, then I can fly. Just trying to get my fix on Twitch until then.
Arrival, right?
Yeah. I do that when I tell you when I'm traveling for business, Whiskey River, and I'm not able to take my flights in rig with me. I'm all over Twitch.
250 on the speed, Delta 284.
Living vicariously through my friends. Alright, so we can get rid of the Albany 7 departure, and we can get rid of the Albany ground chart. We can go ahead and start briefing for our arrival into Nantucket. So, KACK. At this point, we're direct to the VOR, so the rest of the navigation plan is pretty much a moot point. 99.9 miles away, and directing from here. Just hoping that that's not going to put us... Well, the weather's starting to break up and dissipate a little bit, so it looks like we might be okay if we beat it.
240 heading 120 vector to sequence, Delta 284.
I don't know where exactly we are right now. KALB to KACK. But it looks like we might beat the weather to Nantucket if we go more directish. So
Delta 2782, contact Boston approach.
we'll see how it goes.
120.6.
Airport diagram is there. Let's get a weather.
Delta 284, I'm off the arrival now. What altitude do you want?
Delta 284, maintain 17,000.
17,000, Delta 284.
We got a KACK-ATIS. Information Lima. 8 statute miles. Broken 8500.
Brendo 7 Mike Lima.
2993. ILS 24 departing 24.
Pilot discretion down at 240 for Red Nose 7 Mike Lima.
So we're going to pull up the Great Point Visual 24 and the ILS 24. We'll prepare ourselves for both.
Descent via the arrival, Delta 284.
JetBlue 8120, clear direct Pro V.
Clear direct Pro V, JetBlue
1091 and 241. So 1091 gets set here. 1091. Set that down here. And 241.
Delta 284, can I get an updated altimeter?
Yeah, as always, went the long way around. I always do that.
2988, thank you.
241.
Baron 4 Delta Victor, Providence altimeter 2991.
2991, 4 Delta Victor. Alright.
Baron 4 Delta Victor, Providence altimeter 2991.
2991, 4 Delta Victor.
Delta 284, contact Boston approach 120.6, see ya.
20.6, good night, Delta 284. Boston Center, Delta 983, I make contact New York Center.
Delta 93, my apologies, sir. Contact New York Center 125.32.
125.32 for Delta 983, thank you.
Sounded like he didn't hear me. Alright, well, we'll monitor that. Whiskey says, just worried about how it performed. Only got about 1,800 to spend with a Rift 2.
Beaver 47 Charlie, clear direct Pro V.
Ken says, should be able to get an awesome flight sim computer for 1,800. Well, you got to subtract out of that the cost of the Oculus Rift, but I don't know how much they are.
Clear Shotcraft, Boston Center will be back in 1 minute.
Alright. Alright, so 109.1241. Landing elevation is 47 feet. Intercept is 2,000 feet. We know that the...
Boston American 24 with you, 5
what was the wind? Two 109, so it'll be a slight left to right crosswind. Not too bad though. It says no clue what a Rift costs, never looked into it. Yeah, I have no idea either. Rift's 400, so it'll be 1,400 for the PC. That should still set you up pretty well, Whiskey River, I would think. It's way more than I spent on the one I'm using right now. Missed approach is 2,300 on the Nantucket VOR DME 240. So we'll actually set 240 on 240 on the second VOR. And that's 109.1, which is what we've already got. No, it's 116.2.
For 1 minute.
So 16.2. So basically, we're getting the ILS set up on Nav 1 standby, and we're getting the missed approach set up on the Nav 2 standby. And we're starting to come a little bit through some weather here.
Biscayne 340 Boston Center, climb maintain level 360.
We'll see how this goes. Hopefully we'll hold together. Hopefully we'll hold it together. $78, yeah, see. Normally I might not have tried to fly through that. But had to test the voice system, so rolling the dice a little bit. Starting to come over the coast. Looks like we might be kind of headed toward Martha's Vineyard here.
Delta Victor, Providence, altimeter 2991.
2991, 4 Delta Victor. You copy?
Boston Speedbird 47 Charlie, just stepping away from the flight deck for 3 minutes.
That's privilege requested a report with backup frequency.
Okay, so I've got good levels in this system here. Center 5 and 4 Delta Victor radio check. Got good levels. And I see the transmit light. Yeah, I don't think he's hearing me. Alright, applying okay over there. We're going to close this. And let's start it back up. Connect.
Roger, send by the Ocean 2 arrival for runway 22 left for Red Nose 7 Mike Lima.
Boston Center, Delta 8883 with you, climbing up to 17,000.
Delta 8883 Boston Center, welcome aboard, climb maintain level 190.
Up to 190, Delta 8883.
Boston Center, Baron 514 Delta Victor radio check.
JetBlue 8120, descend via the Roebuck 3, Rabble, runway 22 left, Boston, altimeter 2988.
Whiskey says, it's been 10 years since I played a flight sim. Damn, they look good now. Yeah, XP11 in particular, man.
Copy the altimeter 2988, JetBlue 8120.
Boston Center, Baron 5 and 4 Delta Victor radio check.
And Boston, Speedbird 47 Charlie's back.
Speedbird 47 Charlie, roger, thank you, sir.
Alright, Bartle 11, you still here, man? Am I in a dead zone? What's going on? Transmit button is lighting up. And under the settings, I do have good volume on the mic input. Boston Center, Baron 5 and 4 Delta Victor radio check.
Speedbird 47 Charlie, Boston Center, how do you hear?
Read your strength 5, 47 Charlie.
Thanks. Speedbird 47 Charlie, descend via the Roebuck 3 arrival, runway 22 left, Boston, altimeter 2988.
Descend via the arrival, it's 22 left, and just say again the altimeter for 47 Charlie.
Right, I'm going to flip radio stations. And I'm going to flip it back.
Good job.
Boston Center, Baron 5 and 4 Delta Victor radio check.
Baron 514 Delta Victor, got you 5x5 now. Providence, altimeter 29901, descend maintain 11,000.
299 11,000, 5 and 4 Delta Victor. Alright, so Bartle 11, don't know what was causing that, but flipping radio stations and back again did solve it. Alright, 15 and 20 on the manifold pressure. And we'll go down a couple notches.
American 2424, clear direct Pro V intersection.
Check Pro V, American 24.
Delta 88.
Write it up in the Discord if you get a chance. It's Bartle 11, yep, I will do that.
Direct Pro V, Delta 8883.
Boston Center, JetBlue 1489, 9005 on climb 14,000.
JetBlue 1489, Boston Center, hello, climb maintain level 300.
Probably be after I touch down Bartle 11, but I'll do that.
Baron 4 Delta Victor, contact Boston approach 118.2.
1825 and 4 Delta Victor. (18.2). Switch over.
Traffic JetBlue 2111, watch help, applicable.
Has anyone used the PC-12 with REP? Says, shut the H up. Shut the H up, good to see you here. I haven't seen you here before, but welcome to the stream. I personally have not. This is the only REP plane that I have, which is the default, XP11 default Beach Baron. Boston approach, Baron 514 Delta Victor, information Lima, Nantucket, descending 11.8 for 11,000.
Baron 514 Delta Victor, Boston approach, good evening. The Cape altimeter 29903, expect ILS runway 24 approach.
29903, expect ILS 24 approach, 5-4 Delta Victor. Shut the H up says I love the 172 REP, but it's just too small for my liking. Yeah,
about 930, 5 miles, L2 indicates 2000.
I'm not a fan of the Skyhawk either. Not too small, but too slow.
626 November, contact Tower 118.3.
1830, 66 November, see ya.
Ah, there's Melvin Leary touching down. They're getting ready to touch down. Shut the H up's trying to stick with it. Yeah, I think the REP is a fantastic package, and I have it here for the default Beach Baron.
JetBlue 2121, descend and maintain 2000.
Whiskey River says it's the one I'm getting first, which is the 172, just to learn.
4 Delta Victor, descend and maintain 9000.
9000, 5-4 Delta Victor. And then move on to the TBM 900, yeah. Yeah, Shut the H up says it drags along in flights, absolutely does. Alright, so we had a couple of crashes of xPilot, which we've saved the logs for, and we've had one voice issue where we could hear everybody but they couldn't hear us, and flipping radio station and flipping it back solved that issue. So just keeping track of the issues, and of course it's kind of nice that we've got it on live stream, and I'm trying my best to put my troubleshooting efforts on the screen so that we can look and refer back with
Delta, you're requesting flight following this evening.
with timestamps. So,
Air 853 Delta Squawk 3422, departure with
I'm
me.
going to expedite this descent just a touch here. So we'll be able to refer back with timestamps to the issues that we had here. So that'll be nice. That'll help the developers, I presume. Got some stream activity going on there. The Shut the H up has now followed us. That means Shut the H up intends to come back and check us out again at some point. So I appreciate that. Glad to have you here, and hope that you enjoy and hope that you'll be back. On the channel, normally it's general aviation flying on the VATSIM network. The Beach Baron is probably our primary, and then we also fly the Douglas DC-3, the Aeroworks DC-3. Whiskey River 99's also hit the follow button. Appreciate that.
Turn left heading 330, descend
So primarily the Beach and the Douglas, and then we occasionally will bust out the Coronado Citation. We'll do a little slant Lima flying on the slant Alpha channel every now and then, and then very, very rarely we'll boot up FSX and do either the PMDG 7.3 or the 7.4. We got Bartle 11 to follow. We got Shut the H ups.
40019 Nantucket at your
Hitting the subscribe button with the Twitch Prime subscription. It's awesome. Thanks a lot for the support, guys. We really do appreciate it.
Contact Tower 18.3.
Are we at 9?
18.3,
Yeah, we're at 9. Let's go back into altitude mode here. And back up to 20. Say what?
Skyhawk 853 Delta, LV short 24, Martha's.
A little wavering in the, I'm going to enrich the mix, I think.
Skyhawk 853 Delta, wind 210 at 13, on departure flight runway heading runway 24, clear for takeoff.
Runway heading clear takeoff, 853 Delta.
Yeah, so descended a few thousand feet and didn't enrich the mix. So that's why the engines were wavering just then. But we got about 22 and 22 on the manifold pressure and the RPM, so that's all good. What's the EGT doing? Gonna lean it out just another touch there. So Shut the H up has the Quest Kodiak and the DA62, but the REP stuff just feels better.
21, 4 miles
Yeah, it's really made me a better virtual pilot just by kind of enforcing good habits. I'll tell you what, that vPilot's just a little on the loud side again, so I'm gonna knock it down. Just basically zero it out. That should put it back okay. I know you guys want to hear that codec, but yeah, I don't need it booming. I don't need it ripping out my eardrums. With the OATs kind of on the low side and being in the clouds, we're going to go ahead and pop all the anti-icing stuff on. Probably should have done that before now. Where are we at? 34 miles out? Yeah. Yeah, the REP, it's made me a better sim pilot, that's for sure.
Level 2000, heading 241.
Or 271 Mike Sierra, correction November 721 Mike Sierra, Boston departure, radar contact, climb maintain 8000.
Climb maintain 8000.
Definitely makes you pay attention more to engine management. You know, you get used to these sim engines where you can kind of do what you want to and just run them wide open the entire time, and they'll still get you where you're going. But engine management, man, as a real world pilot, especially in a light plane, well, I guess in a light plane and an airliner, engine management's kind of your primary job. You got to make sure those things are going to keep turning until you get to your destination and safely back.
Number 853 Delta.
Where rubber meets road. So.
State altitude leaving.
You know, and the sim pilots tend to get lazy about that. We're just full throttle and
3 Delta, radar contact.
rotate, point it in the right direction, and then we land. But REP doesn't let you get away with that.
721 Mike Sierra, when able, proceed direct Fredo.
Direct Fredo, November 721 Mike Sierra.
Yeah, let's get the ILS-24 back in front of us. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to do the grade point visual, so I'll just go ahead and close that. ILS-24,
2121 contact.
1091 and 241, and we have some of this preset. Its wind was 210, so it's going to be a slight left to right crosswind, so we'll correct slightly to the left as we come in. Whiskey River, do you use FS Economy at all? That looks like it will add some pretty interesting realism to the sim as well. Yeah, so I don't, but one cool feature of the REP is that it integrates with FS Economy. So that when the idea is that you earn money for flights and then you have to spend money for maintenance and fuel and oil and everything else, and so that is the basic system that is built into the REP. But it also is kind of how FS Economy works. Well, REP got together with FS Economy and made their systems work together. So I think we've got the weather starting to clear up, which is nice. Maybe we will get the grade point visual after all. But for now, we've been told to expect the ILS, so that's what we'll brief. So again, 1091, 241. We know it's a left to right crosswind. We know the reported ceiling was 8,500, so we shouldn't have any issues from a minimum standpoint. The intercept altitude will be 2,000 and down to 1,600. The minimums for straight in is 247 feet above sea level, which is 200 feet above ground level. If we go missed, it's a straight out climb to 2,300 on the Nantucket VOR 240 radial, which almost dead center straight out, so we don't have to make any turns, just runway heading, get the nav aid set, and then straight out to that intersection called UFTAC. And enter the hold there. So again, it's 2,300 and straight out, and then we'll get the nav radio set. So once we get off of our direct inbound to Nantucket, we'll get nav 1 set for the ILS and nav 2 set for the mist. And then the other thing that we need to know is that it's right-hand turn off if we land.
514 Delta Victor, turn left heading 060 vectors, ILS running 24 approach.
060 vectors for the ILS-24, 514 Delta Victor. Alright, so we'll go into heading mode. This is where we can start to set up our radios. Where is it? Heading mode, 060. And so, like I said, the last thing we need to know is right-hand turn off if we land. So there we go, we're briefed. Let's get this thing set up now, shall we? 1091, 241. Always, always, always spinning it the long way around. That's just what I do. We know why. And then the
514 Delta Victor, descend and maintain 6,000.
6,000, 514 Delta Victor. Alright, so down to 15 and 20. Autopilot a few clicks down. We won't hand fly it just yet. Once we get everything set up on the approach and ready to hand fly it, we'll go ahead and hand fly. It looks like the weather's going to clear up for us, so we should be okay. So we're watching the altimeter for 6 and continuing to get the radio set up. Ken Pryor says, started FSE a few months ago. It's fun.
Boston approach, Viper Jet 318 Victor Juliet.
Oh, there's Chris.
Level 2000.
Viper Jet 318 Victor Juliet, Boston departure, radar contact, climb maintain 8,000, proceed.
All kinds of familiar voices on tonight.
Fredo up to 8,000, 8 Victor Juliet.
So 1091, 241, 116.2, and 240 on the missed approach radio set. So I think we should be okay. Everything else is set as it is. We do know that missed approach altitude is 2,300 if we need it. And we've got
721 Mike Sierra, turn right heading.
Got the ILS throwing on a 15.6 mile DME.
Or 514 Delta Victor, turn left heading 040 vectors for traffic.
040 for traffic, 514 Delta Victor. Alright, there we are. Yeah, so Whiskey River, the idea, I think, behind the REP certainly what it does for a lot of pilots, and why a lot of pilots swear by it, is that it gives you excuses to fly to all these little airports that you wouldn't ordinarily otherwise. Turning the anti-icing stuff off now, since we seem to be below the worst of the cloud layer. And shut the H up, says Dan. PC-12 REP cruises at like 280. I might have to look at that then. Well, Whiskey River, yeah, so the one thing that I have done to kind of get me flying to places I've never flown before, I set up this 47-leg tour of the United States. We've been doing a couple legs per stream on nights that we don't have any other big VATSIM events going on. So we've started this back in March, and we just knock out a couple legs every now and then when we got nothing else going on. But it's called the Great BE58 Lower 48 State Tour. We started in Augusta, Maine. 40...
no longer a factor. Turn right heading 090.
090, 5-4 Delta Victor. So started in Augusta, Maine. It's 47 legs.
5-4 Delta Victor, just maintain 4,000.
Down to 4,000 now, 5-4 Delta Victor. So started in Augusta, Maine, 47 legs, meaning that by the end of the 47th, we'll have touched each of the 48 contiguous United States. Every landing is going to be in a different United States state. We're a little over halfway. We're actually coming up on 2/3 of the way through that thing. We were supposed to have done 2 more legs on this past Monday night, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get online the other night. But yeah, pretty much whenever I hop on the stream and there's not much else going on VATSIM, I'll knock out a couple more legs of that tour, and I feel like it's probably going to take me to the rest of the calendar year. But the great thing about it, I'll put it up on the screen again real quick. Great thing about it is that it, I plotted a path that was going to keep all of the leg lengths fairly reasonable, so I kind of took some time to tinker with that and get it to where I could do it and not have to do any like crazy long 6-hour legs anywhere in there. So I planned it out carefully so that the legs were all fairly short. But it definitely has me going to a bunch of smaller municipal airports along the way that I probably wouldn't have visited otherwise. And I think that FS Economy kind of does the same thing. It gives you incentive to go places that you wouldn't have chosen just randomly or on your own. I think as sim pilots, we tend to get in ruts. We like to go to the same places. So it's just an excuse to push us out of our comfort box and get us to go someplace that we might not have chosen otherwise. Ken says his FSC account got activated pretty quickly. So Whiskey River, hopefully your experience will be the same.
Delta, we have the field now.
853 Delta, thanks. Contact the tower 118.3 so long.
I'm going to go ahead and tune 18.3 on the Nav1 standby. It sounds like that's what we're going to get handed off to. Com1 standby, I mean. So 4,000 was it? That's what we were assigned, I think. So we'll...
Or 514 Delta Victor, just to maintain 2,000.
2,000, 514 Delta Victor. Well, never mind. Power it back down. Tour looks awesome. Been planning to come up with more historical tours. Read a lot of history books, so it would be awesome to fly over to some of the places I've read about, says Whiskey River 99. Yeah. I'm kind of an aviation history buff myself. I'm on September 30th, Monday the 30th, I'm going to be doing a reenactment of the Berlin airlift flight. That's an event that was put on by VATSIM Germany last November, where they gave you some files that enabled you to reactivate some of the historical nav aids that were used in the Berlin airlift. And
514 Delta Victor, turn right heading 150.
150, 514 Delta Victor. So Monday, September 30th is actually the 70th anniversary of the end of the Berlin airlift. So we're going to be reenacting that flight again. It's not going to be an event. It's not going to be like 100 pilots doing it like there was last November. But September the 30th, we've gotten kind of a small group flight organized. I'm going to do that in the AeroWorks DC-3 or C-47 Skytrain as it is more properly. We're going to kick Otto out of the cockpit now and make this my airplane. What do you say to that? Say your last prayers. Heaven help us all. Rolling out on a 150. But yeah, so Monday the 30th, like I said, 70th anniversary of the end of the Berlin airlift, and so we're going to reenact that flight just as VATSIM Germany did it last November, and we got a handful of folks that are going to join us on stream and do that. Shut the H up says, what's your normal cruise speed in this? It cruises at about 190 true airspeed. Bear with me, guys, as I am going to hand fly the rest of this approach. I'm very likely going to miss a lot of the chat messages as I do. The other thing to note is I do have a landing rate plug-in that's going to give you my vertical speed at touchdown. It's not the Project Fly one that does this automatic selector of the winning prediction. But if you just put your prediction up into the chat as far as my vertical rate of vertical rate of descent at the point my wheels touch, the landing stats plug-in at the bottom right will tell you what it was, and we'll choose a winner. I don't really have any prizes, it's just bragging rights. One of these days I'll get Red Bull to sponsor this stream and I'll have some prizes to give away for that. Alright, localizers now starting to come in there. As we commence the approach, we'll get the cow flaps opened up. Start pulling the speed down. Localizer's flipping back and forth, but as we get closer to it, it'll settle in. Definitely be here to watch that. Was thinking about trying to reenact D-Day flights for the U.S. Airborne. What date did you say? It's Monday, September 30th. And the show schedule is in the Twitch channel information. If you go to the info tab on the Twitch page, or if you scroll down, if you're on the desktop version, if you scroll down, you should find all the information you need, including the show schedule. Always subject to change, but I try and keep it relatively updated. And I need to post the October schedule as well, since we're starting to get into September already. Alright, 120 knots now. We'll go flaps 1 and gear. Add some power in to counteract the extra drag. Of course, I didn't do well to counteract the extra lift as I should have. So we picked up a couple hundred feet there, but I'll get that sorted out. So yeah, we're going to be maintaining about 110 knots here and get restabilized on 2,000 rather.
Air 514 Delta Victor, 5 miles from Blue Bay, turn right heading 210, maintain 2,000 until established localizer, clear to ILS for 24 approach.
Alright, 210 and 2,000 until established, clear for the ILS 24514 Delta Victor. Alright, so we're turning to 210. Overshot that turn just a touch. We'll come back on it. And we'll get the nose down, get back down to 2,000 feet. See the island up ahead to the right, but don't quite see the runway yet. Which is fine. We're doing it right by the ILS gauge right now.
Air 318 Victor Juliet, contact Boston approach 120.6.
120.6, 850 Juliet.
Air 721 Mike Sierra, contact Boston approach 120.6.
120.6, November 721 Mike Sierra.
Edge it over to the right just a touch. Get back on that 210 heading. Yeah, so bear with me guys again on the chat messages. I'm probably going to not be able to keep up with those as I hand fly this approach into Nantucket. Had someone's call sign kind of flashing up on the screen there for a bit. Not sure what that was about. Not sure if they were slewing a replay or something, or whether what that was. You always got to disconnect from VATSIM before you do your landing replays, guys. almost all of your pilot clients are going to transmit that position over the network if you replay your landing. So, whoops, blew right through the localizer while I was yapping on about that. So we'll put in kind of an aggressive, maybe 30-degree correction, and then we'll just turn right back onto final approach course, and that should have us sorted out there. Alright, not too bad. Correct a little bit back to the right.
Tower 514 Delta Victor, contact Tower 18.3 so long.
Tower 18.3, 514 Delta Victor, thanks. There we are. Missed that reassuring beep to let you know you've connected to the new voice room, but you're not going to have that anymore. Voice room no say existen. Nantucket Tower, Baron 514 Delta Victor is on an 8-mile final ILS-24. 8 mile.
Baron November 514 Delta Victor, number 2 behind the Skyhawk on about a mile final. Wind 230 at 11, runway 24, clear to land.
Clear to land number 224, 514 Delta Victor. Alright.
And Nantucket Tower, Duke 626 November, hold short 24, ready for departure.
Oh, it's Melvin Leroy.
6 November, Nantucket Tower, hello again. Traffic is a Skyhawk on about a half a mile final. I'll try to get you out before the Baron on a 6-mile final.
Yeah, try and get him out before me.
24626 November.
I guess I'll be nice and slow up. Baron 514 Delta Victor. I guess I'll be nice and try and slow up for my friend.
4 Delta Victor, roger, thanks.
It's $5 if you get me out before him.
Hey, I'll take it. November 514 Delta Victor, cancel landing clearance, continue approach.
Continue approach, cancel the landing clearance 514 Delta Victor, no problem.
November 626 November, runway 24, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, runway 24, 626 November.
That's
November 853 Delta, right one able, ground 132.5.
We got the second notch of flaps out. We'll slowly get the prop and mix levers forward. Those of you new to the stream, that's just kind of a running joke between myself and Melvin Leroy, so.
November 626 November, wind 230 at 11, runway 24, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 24, Duke 626 November.
Alright. A little low on the glide slope. Got the props and mix levers full forward though. A little low on the glide slope, a little left of center line, so let's get the plane leveled out. Back on center line. Back on glide slope. We do have the field in sight up in front of us there.
November 514 Delta Victor, wind 230 at 11, runway 24, clear to land.
Clear to land 24, 514 Delta Victor. Alright, so now get back to
November 626 November, contact Boston approach 118.2.
1820, 626 November, thanks to the ATC.
And November 626 November, I'll be waiting for the $5.
It's on the way.
Alright, so glide slope's coming back down now. We can go ahead and get pitched down and get on it. The center line adherence has not been great, but doing okay. Speed's coming up now. Let's get it back down to 85 knots. So we got aircraft labels might need a little work. Yeah, some glitching going on with the aircraft labels. So we'll show this stream with this timestamp to the xPilot developer so he can kind of See what's going on with those, maybe. But it's definitely a beta test, guys. This is, you know, we've got to expect not everything to run perfectly. That's the purpose of a test. See what's working, see what needs some tweaking. Alright, landing rate predictions again, and if you want to throw them up into the chat. That is some real fun with the aircraft labels. Alright. Center line looking good. Glide slope looking good. Speed's a little fast. We'll get that under control. Get it back down to 80 knots, 85 knots rather. Remember, it's 2300 straight out if we go missed. Right turn off if we land. Gear is green. Flaps are set and checked. We do have our landing clearance. Ken's going to go 120. Let's see how that works out. The approach has been looking pretty good. That's never a predictor of the landing, though. We know that all too well, don't we? Shut the H up doesn't have any faith in me whatsoever. A little bit of flare, cut the power. Oh, this is looking good. Oh, 254. Firm landing. Oh no. Shut the H up, I think might be the winner. That's what I get. I thought it was looking great, and then boom. Flared early. Set her down nice and firm. Oh well. That's what I get. Look at the
November 514 Delta Victor, welcome to Nantucket Ground 132.5, good night.
32.55 and 4 Delta Victor, thanks. 32.5. Where are we? Where are we? Nantucket Ground 514 Delta Victor. I think we're off on Charlie, short of Echo, off of 24.
November 514 Delta Victor, Nantucket Ground, straight ahead on Charlie to the ramp.
Straight ahead, Charlie to the ramp, 514 Delta Victor, thanks. Alright, yeah.
No problem.
Landing lights can come off, taxi light can come on, strobe lights can come off, pitot heat can come off. Alright, Charlie. Yes, Charlie Foxtrot, as some of our streams always tend to be. The airport labels, aircraft labels are making a little bit more sense now that they're not all on top of each other. Well, we'll come over here to one of these little trailers. See if there's a fridge with some beer in it. Alright. Parking brake on. Taxi light off. Let's run through this shutdown. Downwind Sim is here. How's the audio test going? Yeah, the audio test worked out really well. We did have a few glitches with the pilot client. Just some minor things. Overall went very, very well. The audio is fantastic. But yeah, there were just a couple of little minor hitches with the system. So we'll report those in to the developers and we'll see if they can iron those out. But yeah, we're really optimistic for a release within a few weeks here. So fingers crossed. Shut the H up was the big winner. And Shut the H up says I would have broke something, no worries. Brief overview of the new features. I'll tell you what, let me go ahead and get the sim shut down. Yeah, I may not have time. I got an appointment here at 9:30 that I'm going to be a little bit late for. So may not have time. You can certainly watch the stream back, but yeah, the coolest new thing is xPilot, the X-plane version of vPilot, which I love. That's the biggest thing I miss about FSX is vPilot. So this client here, it's a testing client. It's not yet fully available, and it's not being developed for the current VATSIM audio system. It's only being developed for the new VATSIM audio system. So it won't be publicly available at least until the new voice system is fully rolled out into the network.
Delta 223.55.
So.
No, not really. Delta 223, could you up your mic a little?
Go and switch that over so that got a little bit of a taste of it there, Downwind Sim, but flip that over so it's not distracting us. But yeah, so this is I think the coolest thing. Second coolest thing. The coolest thing is the voice system and how awesome it sounds. But this is the second coolest thing, definitely xPilot. As much as Swift is very fully featured, this is much more simple, compact, straightforward, easy to use, and so I can't wait until that's fully developed out for X-Plane as well. So yeah, we definitely got to play with some cool new fun things tonight, and I'll talk to you more about it soon. But I do want to go ahead and get the plane shut down now. We'll check on, let's see, we got the parking brake on, taxi light off, transponder can go back to 1200, and standby mode. There's that. Matter of fact, we can go ahead and turn that off. The trim can be reset. There's that. And fuel and ETA. I had said on the blocks, on the ground at 9:25, on the blocks at 9:30. We pretty much hit that right on the nose. Remaining fuel, by the way, is my planning spreadsheet here. This is what we're looking at. Remaining fuel should be 382 pounds. Let's see, flight and weight and balance. And what do we got? Oh my God. We were within 1.7 pounds. Okay, so those numbers worked out pretty well. We'll go ahead and get the master avionics switch off, and we'll check we'll do the live mag check. When we spin the magnetos off and back on, we should see the engines want to sputter and die, and both of them, that confirms that we do have mag switches that do in fact kill the electrical power to the magnetos. It's just a good thing to check before you shut the plane down. Now we can go ahead and shut the throttles down, we'll cut the mix off, and then as the propellers come to a stop, we'll go ahead and feather them. Then we can turn the magnetos off for real. We'll go ahead and get the cow flaps closed back up. Panel lights, nav lights, and beacon lights can be turned off. Alternators left and right, not necessarily in that order. Battery switch. We'll do our post-flight walk-around and walk-around mode and post-flight, and pretty much just put the covers back on, tie downs back on, chocks back on, all that stuff. Alright, and then we'll run through the maintenance report, and then we'll go ahead and close up shop for the night. Okay, let's look at the maintenance report. That's up here. Maintenance report, engine 1. We were only down 1 quart, but I'll go ahead and order the refill. Plenty of time before the oil or the filter needs to be changed. Plug tips are not fouled, so we're good there. Same story on the number 2 engine. Just need 1 quart of oil to refill it up and top it off. So everything else looks good there. No need to change injectors. Don't need to preheat, but we're not flying again anyway, so we're good there. Battery is nearly fully charged. Avionics look good, gauges look good, tires, brakes, and suspension looks good. The only thing that we've got going on is the oil refill, so we'll go ahead and get that under order. And there we have it, guys. So yeah, like I said, the audio system worked great, except for a couple of minor little glitches that we'll definitely report into the developers. But nothing show-stopping for sure. We're very anxious to see this roll down to the live network. And the xPilot client also had a few little glitches. That's newer, though. So we're kind of expecting that that's a little bit more of a work in progress. The voice system, I feel like the bugs are mostly ironed out, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that there weren't any big major issues exposed with tonight's test. Let's just take one last look to see how many we got connected. 134 connected. I didn't see that get any too much higher over than about 140, so I know that we're hoping for a bit of a bigger test. Maybe we'll see a few more. There's still another hour and a half left in the test, and maybe we saw that maybe there were a few more connected there during the middle of it. But yeah, so it was good fun. The audio sounded great. We got to hear the blocking feature, and how we talked about how controllers sometimes can hear pilots, but pilots can't hear each other because they're on opposite ends of the controller's coverage area, so we've got to watch out for that. We actually received a pilot on voice unicom on COM 2 while we were listening on COM 1, so we thought that the pilot was stepping on pilots on the COM 1 frequency, but she wasn't. She was actually on a completely different frequency, and so now we've got to be more careful with how we have our COM 2 tuned. That's an interesting and cool new feature. It was neat to hear radio calls, traffic radio calls on 122.8. We'll need to watch Agent B7's stream and watch how that all went down and how it sounded from her end. What else? Yeah, I guess that was it. We did have the one little glitch where the controllers couldn't hear us, but we could hear them, but we tuned to a different frequency and flipped it back, and that solved it. So no big deal there, but I know they want to look into what caused that, so we'll definitely let them know that happened. Other than that, I think it went pretty well, and again, fingers crossed that we won't see any huge issues and that they'll be able to roll this out in weeks rather than months. Thank you for joining us and checking it out. We've got quite a few new friends and followers tonight, so we hope that you'll be back. We do mostly general aviation flying on this channel with the Beech Baron or the Douglas DC-3. Occasionally we'll fly the Cessna Citation business jet. We'll go ahead and fly that with the full avionics suite, so we'll do that Slant Lima. And then every now and then we'll pop out the PNDG 737 or 747 just for a change of pace. So that's the normal way of things. We're normally on Monday nights and Friday nights 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is midnight Zulu the next day ahead. So Tuesday and Saturday 0000 Zulu time. And then that'll switch over to 0100 once we get out of daylight savings. So the next scheduled stream will be the 9th. I'm sorry, it would be Monday the 9th. This Friday I'm going to actually miss. So you won't see me 2 days from now, but you will see me on Monday the 9th. We're going to take another attempt at Take Your Baron to Barrow. We're going to boot up the very same X-Plane Beech Baron that you see here tonight with the Reality Expansion Pack. We're going to start at Kotzebue, Alaska, and we're going to take it to the furthest northernmost reaches of the United States, aviation-wise, to Barrow. We tried that once before. We had some sort of an engine issue. We had to turn back and land at Kotzebue, so it was interesting stream from that standpoint, but Monday night we'll try that again, and we'll go through the whole navigation process that you will do, and when you're navigating those airways up there that are connected by NDBs rather than VORs, so that'll be interesting, and we'll talk about that. The following week, instead of Friday, we're actually on Saturday. New York ARTCC is doing a retro night up at Kennedy, so we're going to take the AeroWorks DC-3 up the East Coast, the northeastern corridor from DC to Baltimore to Philly, and then on up to New York, recreating some flights from the old 1930s Eastern Airlines schedule in the Douglas DC-3 with those real quick turnaround 5-minute stops. So we'll talk about how they did those, and hopefully we'll be able to keep up with the scheduled times. We'll see how that goes. As I said earlier, if you ever wanted to know what we're doing, you can check the Twitch channel information. Scroll down below the picture window there and check out the information we've got for you below, the show schedules among all that stuff that's down there. You can also find us on Facebook, Slant Alpha, or Twitter at Slant Alpha. And you can join our Discord server there on the lower right-hand side of the screen. It's discord.gg, and then that little jumble there will get you connected to our Discord. And you can keep up with what's going on in the stream that way. So, yep, the other thing you can do if you ever wanted to see our old broadcasts, or if you missed tonight and want to play that back, Certainly we'll be looking at this one tonight, and we'll be developing some timestamps to show the developers about certain issues that we encountered. But that'll be up on the YouTube channel that we call Slant Alpha Adventures, and you put those words in with spaces and you'll find that we're getting ever so close to the magical number of 100 subscribers there. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you want to do that to help me out. I think we only need 11 more at this point. We can get a custom link for that thing, so we won't have to keep telling people to type a slant and then a space and then alpha and then another space and then adventures and then hit enter and then it'll pop up. So yeah, man. So definitely hit us up on the YouTube channel, and you can always look at any of our past broadcasts. We've done some previous tests of the audio for VATSIM system that you can kind of look and compare and see how it's been developed over the past couple months. So that'll be worth checking out. All right, guys, but in the meantime, the next time we'll talk to you is going to be Monday the 9th, so it's another long weekend before we will be back with you again. So do enjoy, be safe, and travel safely in your own adventures, and we'll talk to you then.